Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. As you can probably see by how many manga are missing, we're talking about the full season, Season 4 of My Hero Academia. And basically a look back at this full season. Holy cow, it's insane to think about. But, like I said, the entire season. Volume 14 through 21 is the manga collection of season 4. Volume 14, about halfway through, is where it starts, and volume 21, a little bit in there, and then about halfway in. It's really confusing, and I'll explain in a bit. But honestly, this season actually stayed very, very close to the actual manga in comparison to previous seasons. Most of the seasons have a lot more differences in between them. Usually the fights look a lot better and stuff like that, but there's also a few other things that you don't really realize until you've watched both, or read the manga and watched the anime. But like I said, this whole season was huge. And believe it or not, this is actually really fun. Volume 21, I believe, was my first manga review on this channel. And I know that's weird to think about that this is where it started, but yeah. I did my first My Hero manga review on Volume 21. So, yeah. But like I said, it is a long season, and you don't really realize how long it was unless you read the manga. Plain and simple, this is the longest season. I mean, next season is volumes 21 through 25. That's 5 volumes in comparison to this time's 8. Yeah, give or take. About 8. And yes, that's a bit it's actually like closer to 7, but it's still long. And believe it or not, most of that is the overhaul arc. 5 of 5 of them. 5 this are the first arc, the overhaul arc, which honestly is about how long a normal season is. In fact, when I was actually watching the trailers and stuff, I was thinking maybe they're just gonna go with these and not focus on the next arc, even though it's really, really connected. Um, but there's still a lot to be unpacked here, and honestly, this season was fantastic. But we're not just looking at the season and the manga in comparison. Obviously, there were a few differences here and there, and most of them were pretty minor. There was one fully fledged anime only episode, which usually there's a few more, but it's understandable that they would actually have fewer anime only episodes and anime special things that are only in the anime for this season because of the fact that they just had so much that they had to get through. Like I said, five of the volumes are frickin' overhauls arc, and the remaining are the new arc. So, are the remainder arc, and that's insane to think about. It honestly is. But like I said, this wasn't the only thing that came out this season. We also got the newest My Hero One's Justice game, which honestly covers the first half of the season really well. And honestly, if you are going to check any of the My Hero One's Justice games out, I would definitely suggest this one. The first one was okay, but this one, it just fills a lot of the problems that were in the original. So getting this wise decision, making it pretty good. Do I suggest that they make One's Justice 3 next season? No. But let's be honest, they probably will. We also got the new movie, Heroes Rising. And while I can't show it off a physical copy yet because it doesn't exist, there's a lot that happened in the movie that honestly was fantastic. Now, I've said before, and I'll say it again, this movie was not a good time. Did not come out at a good time. The movie takes place, was released during this season. This is not when this movie takes place. Unlike the previous movie, which I do not have with me at the time, at this current moment, Two Heroes. Two Heroes actually took place before season 3, if I'm remembering episode order correctly, which I think I am. No. Yes, it was before season 3. It actually takes place during the summer, as in before they go camping. That's when the first movie, Two Heroes, actually takes place, which honestly is fantastic. They really did put that in the perfect place. And with the anime only episode to actually promote the movie, it made sense. But then there was the fact that the other movie just came out. Now, Heroes Rising is a fantastic movie that honestly a lot of people should see. It really does deserve attention. But unless you're someone who reads the manga, there are spoilers, and it's not huge spoilers by any means, but it's an odd thing to think about. And that's honestly a lot that we can say about season 4. Season 4 felt odd, considering how badass the manga was, and honestly how badass the anime actually felt in certain points. It was odd. And they made a lot of odd decisions. Like I said, the movie takes place in the current arc in the manga, as in it's happening during volume 23, as in right after the stuff that happens with Deku at the end of or in the middle of volume 23 is current. That is where the movie starts, as in they are probably about to leave from the school during that probably the next day to go to the island in the movie. And that is something completely odd to think about. Now, don't get me wrong, the whole movie is fantastic, and if they make an anime only episode for this whole arc, then awesome. Then if they make an anime only thing that actually promotes the movie, that will make a ton of sense. Obviously, like I've said, this also means though that they should not, and I repeat, should not make an anime movie this year, or next year I guess would be the more accurate thing to say. And that kind of is sad. It's sad to think about that there's not going to be an anime movie this year. Even though the movie was honestly fantastic and deserves all the credit that it gets. But for now, they need to honestly wait a bit before they release the next season, or before they release the next movie. But back to the actual anime, the overhaul arc was fantastically done. Each episode honestly felt like it was needed. Certain things, like the anime only episode, felt a bit odd, but they kind of have to do something that's anime only to actually connect the characters back into it. They don't necessarily have to do that next season because everyone gets a chance to shine, but doing that will actually help out things quite a bit. Actually helped out things quite a bit in this season. Um, and then we got a few extra anime only things that happened later in. Most of the overhaul arc was basically taken page to frame, basically. There were a few things that were different, but that's mostly due to the fact that fights, plain and simple, look better when they're animated than when they're just drawn out in the pages. That's not to say that Kohi's team didn't do a good job. No, no, no. They did a fantastic job. But animation just makes it look a little bit smoother. Plain and simple. Um, Obviously, after the fights, we get some more interesting stuff happening. Um, and the actual stuff that really meant a lot. A lot more of the Airy arc, or rather the festival arc. Lots of cool little things, just seeing all of the students get to do really fun things. It was honestly just plain and simple fun. We got to see the full song. In the actual manga, and I've talked about this before, they don't really go too in depth with the actual song. Either time, when Jiro is singing her song to actually show off that she's actually like the most talented singer in the world, or at least to the students. And also Hero 2. Hero 2, plain and simple, came out at the perfect time. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It came out at the perfect time. Just when we were starting to get into the terribleness that is the, plain and simple, the coronavirus, everyone was going through a hard time. And then that song comes out to honestly lift our spirits. A lot of people, I feel, will be affected by that song and will be talking about it for many years to come because it, plain and simple, it came out at the perfect time. And the actual soundtrack came out just a few days ago. Well, a little bit longer than that, but I think like a week. And I've talked about it already and how fantastic it is and how helpful it has been to a lot of people. And probably will be helpful for many people for years to come. And that is the point. Eri is struggling, and so are we. So we get the perfect song to help us out, to make us smile, when honestly it doesn't feel like we can. And that is the point of this whole season. To show us that even in the hard times, you can break a smile because there's someone who's willing to help you. There's a lot that happens throughout this whole episode, or this whole season, I should say. And the way that it ended, while it annoys me, it won't annoy anime-only fans. It will probably make them happy. And I said even last video that I was upset about it. And honestly, looking back now, I realize that it's actually the perfect thing to do. Ending it off with a cliffhanger, but more the actual heroic, we've done it. That's something to actually look at and say, wow, that helps. That actually helps. Because now we can look forward and make it through what is currently going on. Obviously, I would prefer that we got the extra stuff with Dobby, but Dobby's stuff that happens next episode isn't really helpful. It's going to be sad. It's a hard lesson that a lot of people will need to learn, and especially Endeavor. Be careful what you do, because some people, they won't forgive, and Dobby is the perfect example of that. He doesn't forgive Endeavor, and he attacks. There's not much else to say, though. I don't want to spoil too much for next season, but honestly, I think you guys are going to love it. Season 5 is honestly probably just around the corner. I know that seems a bit odd to say, but according to the wiki, and I've checked a few other sources, Volume 25 is supposed to be coming in October. So, yeah. Look forward to that. And plain and simple, that is actually how you can tell when an anime is going to start. If it's the end of the actual volume here in America, then that is where the anime starts. Like I said, My Hero Volume 21, that released the day, I think maybe like a few days, but literally right before the actual season started. And it is the end of the season. So we can actually pinpoint the date that Season 5 will begin, and we will be able to get to see the Dobby fight, the Deku fight, and many, many more fights that honestly will just bring a smile to our faces. And of course, we get the villain arc, which is honestly looking to be one of the best arcs in eternity, plain and simple. I will actually say this, though, before we actually conclude this video. Based off what I've read, I am actually not expecting Season 6 to come out until December, and I am sorry that that is a shock to some of you, but yeah, not until December of next year, which I know that's insane. I know it's just 2 months more than this season, but yeah, considering the fact, the main reason I'm saying that though is because of the fact that there's actually a Christmas themed volume or chapter in there. So putting that as actually being a Christmas special anime, well, that makes sense, plain and simple. There's a lot to be unpacked there, but honestly, I think that you guys will enjoy this season with me. And don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Once Volume 24 comes out, yeah, 24 is next. Once Volume 24 comes out, I will be talking about my thoughts on it, as well as the next volume of My Hero Academia Vigilantes is also going to be getting a review. And of course, if I'm right in and I usually am, that next season, that the season of My Hero Academia Vigilantes is going to be starting in the summer, then look forward to that. And we will be talking about it throughout the entire time. But honestly, there's a lot to be excited for this season. And I know that this season just ended, but look forward to the next season, because I know I will. But anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. Leave your comments and theories down in the comments below. Of course, if you are going to leave a theory, make sure to use the hashtag theory review so I can talk about it in my fan theory review video, as well as maybe it will get its own video. And of course, please, please subscribe and ring that notification bell if you are new. And if you want to support the channel even more, which honestly would be really helpful in this hard time, um, please check out the links down in the description, including my merch store and my book. But anyways, guys, I have been Electro Ninja. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. But on!